One, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp. And I'm going to read Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, through the Spirit. It reads, verse 1, the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. So this is talking about Solomon, King Solomon. Let's see, verse 2, vanity of vanities, saith the preacher, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. He's saying everything is pretty much useless, right? After everything that Solomon had, he had all the women, all the riches, all the, blessings that a man could have. But at the end of the day, he understood and he realized that it was all vanity. It was all useless. The only thing that was worthwhile is this knowledge, is this truth. And the men who are in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we understand and we know this and we believe this to be true. We understand that everything on the earth is really vanity. So it's useless. It's a waste of time. If you have riches, if you have a bunch of women, even family, right now it's all pretty much a waste of time. The only thing that is profitable is the truth, because when you have to understand, when you commit yourself to this knowledge and this truth and this ministry, and understand that all those things that you would think would make you happy, or that you think that are gonna complete you, at the end of the day, it's only the knowledge and this truth that can do that. All right, because your wife can't save you, your kids can't save you, your money can't save you. If you have guns, those aren't going to save you. The only thing that can save us is this truth. That's what brings forth salvation. And we know in the kingdom, our family, everybody we love, everybody around us is going to be in the right mindset. All right. Some of them are going to be in the right mindset when the chariots come, when the destruction happens. But every single one of them is going to be in their right mindset in the kingdom. All right. So let's keep reading. What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. All right. So anybody who's telling you a doctrine that says that the earth is going to be destroyed, or the world, the earth is going to be, like some people say, the scientists, a giant asteroid could hit the earth and it'll take the earth out. Well, whenever you hear things like that, just know that those are lies and deception. Because the scripture says the earth abideth forever. Even after the nuclear missiles in World War III, the earth is still going to be standing, okay? Verse 5. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteth to his place where he arose. Right? So it's talking about a cycle. Right? The sun goes around the earth and goes back to, he rotates all the way around the earth. Verse 6. The wind goeth toward the south and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually. The wind returneth again according to his circuits. And again, the preacher, which is King Solomon, who was, he was wiser than any man that has walked the earth, which makes sense because that's Yahweh Shai, right? Solomon is king. I'm sorry, King Solomon is Yahweh Shai through reincarnation, or Yahweh Shai is King Solomon. I said it backwards but let's see. I'm gonna bring this precept out. It's in the Apocrypha. As I said, I made that statement that Solomon was, the most wise man that walked the earth. So let's go to this precept, Wisdom of Solomon 7:17. It says, this is Wisdom of Solomon 7:17. It says, "For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons, the circuits of years, and the position of stars, the natures of living creatures, and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds, and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants and virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know." And he was also a prophet, because we know in Amos 3:7 it tells you that Yahweh revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. But wisdom is and knowledge, and Solomon had all of this, right? He had the understanding of everything, and I say it before, he was basically a real life know-it-all. He knew everything, He had understanding on everything, and it was all given by Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Okay, so let's go back to, and we'll go to the statement in the I think it's in Kings. Alright, so let me grab this. The fucking work calling me and shit when I'm doing a lesson. That's some bullshit. Okay, First Kings 1:11. Oh wait, no, this is not it. First Kings 3 and 12, it says, "Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any arise like unto thee." All right, and this is talking about King Solomon. So, King Solomon had all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the understanding. And like I say, it makes sense because through the regeneration, he would become Yahweh Shai. All right, or he is Yahweh Shai, the same spirit, the same soul. Because we all are reincarnated, regenerated, and that's pretty much what this chapter is going into, this Ecclesiastes, because it talks about all the cycles, how the sun cycles around the earth, and it's repetitive, and then it talks about the wind, The wind may come, but it comes leave and it comes back. It's all cycles, and it goes into. We're going to keep reading. Well, let's read it right here. First, Ecclesiastes 1 and 7. So it talked about the sun and its circuits, and now it's talking about, and then it talked about the wind and how it goes and comes and goes. And then now we're reading about the water. Verse 7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full unto the place from whence the rivers come, thither they return again. So you're going to have the water is also a circuit, a cycle, if you will. It rains, and then it becomes like dew, becomes like a mist. Let me see, just to get some better understanding on that. Let me just Google. Okay, here we go. I just Googled the cycle of water in nature, and it says the water cycle is known as the hydrologic cycle. Is the continuous movement of water on, above, and below Earth's surface through processes like evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and runoff. All right. So everything's a cycle, including the water, including the winds, including the way the sun moves, the sun rotates, right? Let me read this. It says the water cycle on Earth. It is a complex system that includes many different processes. Liquid water evaporates into water vapor, condenses to form clouds, and precipitates back to the earth in the form of rain and snow. Water in different phases moves through the atmosphere, and it says in parentheses, transportation. You see, so the water is constantly in a cycle. Just like everything is in a cycle, man. That's what the whole point of this chapter is. The wisdom of King Solomon, he's breaking down. Everything is recycled, regenerated, reincarnated, repeat. Everything is on repeat, And this is verse 8. It says, all things are full of labor. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. Verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done, it is which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. All right, so everything has already, everything's a cycle. Everything is repetitive. Everything, the water, the sun, the wind, the people, everything has been here and has come back again. And that's why it says there's no new thing under the sun. Is there anything new under the sun? Even and that's why they have a term that says history repeats itself. Even history is a cycle. You have empires rising and falling. You have oppression. It comes in every generation, every empire. And it's because of the cycles. It's because of the spirits of the people are reincarnated, regenerated. So those same spirits, just like right now, the time we're in a time of war here with Esau, Edom. Right? This is a time of war. Donald J. Trump, he's called a wartime president. And he's basically, very soon, they're going to make a literal war with the Israelites. They're already doing it, deporting, the immigrants. Which when they say they're deporting immigrants, they're talking about deporting Israelites. They don't deport so-called white immigrants. You know what I'm saying? It's a constant oppression, perpetual. You know, the heathen versus the Israelites. All the empires, all the captivities that we've been in, they're all recycled. These spirits jumping on these people, on these heathen, to do harm to the Israelites. And there's nothing new under the sun. You know, you can go back to all the different captivities, all the different empires where we've been slaves, and the heathen has always come against us. And it's, you know, is why, because there's nothing new under the sun. Verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. Okay. And that's true. You can't say that about anything. You can't say, oh, this is new right here. You know? And that part about the people, this chapter doesn't come out and say, you know, that you know, people are regenerated, reincarnated. Like it specifically says the rivers, the wind, the sun, you know, all these things are you know, they're not new, right? They're recycled. They happen over and over and over again. It's specific about those things, but it doesn't say about the people specifically. But through the Spirit we know and understand. He says in let's see, where did I read it? Where it said, let me see, where it said about he had not kept any secret from me. And it's because Solomon was a prophet, and you know, the secret to most people, that's a secret or a mystery, right? And when you go into that definition of mystery, it talks about something that is hard or not easily explained, hard to be understood. And that's basically what reincarnation is, because a lot of the majority of the people, they don't believe or understand in reincarnation, and it's hard for them to understand that. But the servants of the prophets, we see it clear as day, you know, and there's many scriptures and verses to prove, you know, people and humans are reincarnated, regenerated. And again, the word reincarnated literally means back in the flesh. Re meaning back, in meaning in, and then carnated goes back to carnal, goes back to flesh, meat, carne in Spanish, carnal, right? Reincarnated, you're back in the flesh. We know through the Spirit, because we are the Lord's prophets, Lord's willing, I'm in that number. You know, we understand this mystery. But that's why it says in verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance. There's nothing new under the sun, man. Not even the people. Verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of the things that are to come with those that shall come after. Right, so you're not going to have a remembrance of your old past life. You might have deja vu here and there, which that word, it's French for, I think, already happened, right? Deja vu. Let's go. I looked it up before. It means, yeah. It means a feeling of having already experienced the present situation. Tedious familiarity, right? But it literally, in French, it means already seen, right? but you don't have remembrance. Like I said, you might have a small moment of deja vu, where you like literally, you when it happens, you're like, oh shit, I've been here before, I've seen this before, this happened already, you see. But overall, there's not a remembrance of your old past life. You're not going to remember every detail or every who you were, you know what I'm saying, who you were in your past life. So let's just keep reading. It says, I, the preacher, let me see. I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all the things that are done under heaven. This sore travail hath the Most High given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. And the servants, the prophets, we seek and search out the truth. That's our desire. He put the Spirit on his men to, yearn and want and desire for the understanding of this knowledge and this truth. Let's read 14. It says, I have seen all the works that are done under the sun. Behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. And that's the truth. If you're in this knowledge, if you're in this truth, pretty much everything around you, when you start to, understand everything, you start to have deeper wisdom, deeper knowledge, deeper understanding. It becomes a vexation of your spirit. Almost pretty much everything vexes you. Women will vex you, when you have this deeper understanding. Your work life, you go to work and you just know you're oppressed. I see these videos on TikTok where all these people are complaining about, they make $100,000 and they're still broke, or they make all this money and they can barely survive. This place is straight vexation, man. Even me yesterday, we're at the end of tax cycle, right? Even a tax is a cycle, right? So we're tax season. Today's the 4/14, and everything is like you get a paycheck, right? But then you think, oh yeah, we got we're gonna better put away some money, or add to the minimal savings you have, or whatever it is. And then only to find out, oh, well, you got to pay a tax bill, you owe taxes maybe, and then here I got to buy some license plates here this week, probably tomorrow. But the point being is, this place is just straight up oppression, man. Everything is a vexation of spirit. Tells you in Haggai, bags with holes in it. That's how we work with bags and holes in it. And this place is what we're subject to payments here. Tells you that in the Apocrypha, in Baruch. All right, verse 15. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. I commune with mine own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yet my heart, which is his mind, had a great experience of wisdom and knowledge. So like we read earlier, he had more wisdom than anyone before him or anyone after him. And the conclusion he came to was that everything was a vexation of the spirit. Even the wisdom becomes a vexation, because as we're about to read, the more you know, the more you have sorrow you have, right? Let me keep reading. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is a vexation of spirit. Right. to know madness, meaning to go crazy, or folly, meaning you're just out there, being a fool, acting a fool, It's all vexation of spirit. It's all vanity. It's useless, Like the wisdom and the knowledge and the sincerity. If you're sincere, that it's not going to be useless. We know that there's going to be profit for the elect of the nation of Israel, when we come into this wisdom and this truth and knowledge, so long as we're sincere about it. But here in the earth, on this side, in the flesh, it becomes grief, even to have this wisdom, And this, I might, just listening to this video, you might say, oh well, man, these prophets, they're all bummed out. They don't look forward to nothing. Their lives look like they've gone crazy, right? They seem like they don't have no joy in life, and But the thing about the Lord's men, the prophets, is, even having this understanding, He's given us that balance. We know how to balance our lives. And that's a big thing in this knowledge and this truth, to understand how to balance things. You don't want to even studying. You don't want to study too much, right? Because even that could be that'll wear you out. Let's see. Let me see if I can get that verse. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12, it says, and further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books, there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. You see that? So even studying, we meditate, we pray, we do all these, things that are religious according to our heritage, according to our calling. But you have to balance everything out, Like you can't just sit there and study 24/7 every day, all day, 365 days of the year, Everything is balanced. So, remember that too, brothers. Verse 17, it says, and I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly, and I perceived that this also is vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Right. And that's what I've been kind of explaining. The more knowledge you have, the more you're going to have sorrow with it. That's why we sigh and cry. Like the heathen, the 2/3, they're not worried about anything. They're not sighing and crying. They're not like the 2/3. They're not pissed off at the state of our people right now. They don't get upset when they see that Israel is basically just the 2/3 of our people are basically just a waste. Just a vanity. This is because by nature, Israelites were compassionate people, and then when you get in this knowledge and this truth, and you see that we're that degenerate plant, right? Let's get that real quick. Jeremiah 2:21. It says, yet I had planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? You see? So we look at our people and we understand that like our people are they're degenerates. And when you go into that word degenerate, it means that you're not what you once were. And remember, degenerate, you're not what you once were. And this is going back into the original, topic I was speaking on, is reincarnation. Because it also goes into regeneration, and this is degenerate. So you got regeneration, aka reincarnation, but then our people through the reincarnation, except for the elect, become degenerates in their degeneration. They become worse. They wax worse and worse each lifetime, the 2/3. And for the men who understand all this, it makes you, let me see. You don't like to see your heritage in a degenerated state, kind of like in the first Maccabees. It says, I'm going to grab this real quick. 2:7, it says, he said, "Woe is me," because you got to understand, the Maccabees, they were in their right mindset. They were elect men. It wasn't like the 2/3, right? They're not, the 2/3 doesn't speak or talk or think like this. But this is Judas Maccabees in First Maccabees 2:7. He said, "Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people, and of the holy city to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of thy enemy. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?" You see that? And we understand what it is. The men who are of the Lord, we understand that, look, we look around, we see our people in this degenerated state. We know that our people were, we were a more powerful nation. We were created to rule the earth, but we went off. So now we've been punished. We've been placed in all these different captivities, and then our people have just straight up become degenerates. Now you have the elect who are repenting and coming back into the fold of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We have the wisdom and knowledge to know and understand what it is, and we looking around and we're like, fuck, our people are fucked up. Our people need death. Our people need to be destroyed, just so they can come back in their right mindset in the kingdom, you see? Because as it stands right now, man, our people are in a fucking low state, and it is sad, but the thing is we are hope. We're the prisoners of hope, and the elect, starting out with the Lord's servants, the prophets. We know that what the prophecy is. We know that we're going to get our glory back, right? It's coming back to us, but it's not until the kingdom, not until Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua delivers us from this captivity, from this low state, from this humble, from being humbled. Yahweh used the heathen to humble us, to bring us down, But again, everything's a cycle. So yeah, we used to be, during the time of King David, King Solomon, we were on the top. Now we're on the bottom. But like I said, the people are recycled. Everything is, renewed. There's no new thing under the sun. So we also know through the Spirit that, guess what? We're going to be renewed. We're going to be put back on top. We're going to be put back in the dominant, in the dominion, the seat of dominion over the heathen. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. So I hope the lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge Al-Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect.